Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Thank you so much for joining those that joined me earlier in the live with Karin from ATP Media. It was so much fun to connect with her about the conference. And today, you and I are going to be doing some work on the full moon because we are celebrating the full moon. So let's just briefly, let me just share the live. Please feel free to share to your networks, whoever would like to join us and participate in this little workshop that we have going today. That would be amazing. So let me go ahead and share this. Make sure anybody that wants to join can join us. How's everybody doing? How was your full moon today? I hope it was really good. How have you been feeling? Hi, Larissa. Hello from NYC. Was expecting to catch you live. Yay, so excited. I'm so glad you're here. Sarah Stiles, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Today we have a lot of work to do, my loves. A lot of work. So it's very interesting the things that we're experiencing in our world today. But one of the things that I'd like to focus on for this energetically, for this energy that's kind of opening for us through this portal. I mean, when we reach certain culminating energies like this, celestial bodies are moving or becoming enhanced by the movements in the universe, there's definitely an influence that we feel that affect us. And it's an opportunity either to enhance certain aspects of ourselves, and it's also an opportunity to release aspects of ourselves that cause stagnation. And as we are beginning, really, this is the very beginning of a new era. If you were to look at the timeline and how we are kind of moving through this time and space right now, we are literally entering into the lacy parts of this huge new change of the transformation of not just this earth, but, interdimensionally. We are evolving in this massive movement of life force as a human organism, as a fractal of the earth organism, as a fractal of the greater universal system that is all constantly moving in cycles. And as I explained before, the way that we moved in the universe is moving through a trajectory that is following something that looks like an infinity sign, that caduceal movement that we see the energy weaving through. And every time that we reach the furthest points in time, it's usually when the collective is most asleep, most hypnotized. It's slower energy. But as we reach that culmination point where these two braids begin to meet one another, this is where we begin to reach the pinnacle vibrational frequency of an evolutionary cycle. And we right now are at the end of that we're at the end of a cycle and the beginning of a very tremendous push and movement into a next generation, next era that we're entering into energetically, vibrationally, and physically. And what that means really is that time speeds up, manifestation speeds up. The way that we are interacting with the matter, time and matter and space begins to change because our interaction with it changes. The vibrational frequency is going at a faster rate, which means that we can literally manifest things into our reality quicker. But more importantly, the veils begin to thin in such a way that we are becoming aware of ourselves as more than just the limiting physical that we once thought we were. We begin to expand our vision to ourselves as a very large energetic expression. And that large energetic expression is interconnected to the fragments of ourselves that are existing on other dimensional planes. And these dimensional planes are a reflection of our own self. They are existing in those planes and living out and expressing aspects of ourselves. A lot of this information, as it comes in and begins to organize, self-organize itself in the Earth three-dimensional plane, is organizing itself in something like archetypes. And these kind of archetypal compartmentalizations that are just definitions of vibrational frequency, ranges of vibrational frequency. We have all of those ranges of vibrational frequency within the body, but we see it expressed in our environment, in our reality. And those vibrational frequencies are the movements of the collective life force. They are the movement of this human body. They are the meridian lines in the body and how energy moves through the body. They are stagnation within the body and expansion of energy in the body. So all of these collective movements are all functioning either in a contractive manner or in an expansive manner. So when we are stuck, when we're stagnant, we become stagnant and we become contractive. So we begin to pull in like a black hole. We become parasitic in other sense. The dynamic with our environment begins to pull from the outside inward, and it is more of a self-serving relationship with yourself and your experience on earth. The opposite of that would be an expansion, it's a vortex that doesn't move inward, it's a vortex that moves outward. And that movement of the physical body, because again, everything moves inside of this kind of torsional movement. The entire universe is moving at that. All the organisms are moving at this through a trajectory that's similar to that torsion. It literally looks like a vortex or a tornado, you can say. And this movement that the body is moving at, our human body actually begins to pick up that speed or becomes stagnant. Again, you're either a white hole or a black hole. And that centrifugal energy and that movement within the body that is created by the higher vibrational frequency begins to expand itself. I just recently talked to a physicist that, talks exactly about this in terms of physics, but the way we see it is through our evolution, through how we are interacting with things, how when we begin to become contractive, we sometimes have accidents or we lose things or we disconnect from source. And it's because all of our energy is pulling in the opposite direction of creation. It is counter-creative. So there really is a divine design for the expression of the human body. And when we learn that, when we understand how to create that kind of movement energetically in the body, that's when we start opening up our intuitive abilities, our healing abilities, our manifestation abilities. And this is a movement and a veil that is being lifted from all the organisms, specifically because of the time that we're at in this larger movement of evolution. All living organisms, not just on our planet, but in the entire organism of the universe and multiverse, are all constantly evolving, constantly experiencing this movement. And so at this time, the invitation is that you can choose, because you have free will. You can choose either to be the contractive energy that is stagnant and stuck and limited, but remember that you will be matching by vibrational resonance those experiences that bring that into you. And right now, in order to maintain this balance in this organism, this intelligent balance, those of you that are waking up are here to maintain that vibrational frequency. The more that you begin to fall into the illusion of separation, the more disconnected from that source that we become. Now, the human body is a vortex that at the crown of the head becomes connected to the other higher levels, and we have infinite dimensional planes in which we're moving through these trajectories of energies that are both contractive and expansive until higher dimensional planes in which the movement may shift or change, depending on the laws and the architecture of those dimensional planes. But that doesn't really matter so much. It's not something that we have to spend time thinking of before we start understanding how to manage and navigate this physical body. And as we begin to understand how to connect with the body and honor and choose wisely between those two contrasting energies, the body can come into its highest expression. The highest expression is that of expansion, of healing, of the intuition. This is where we start coming into our human superpowers, where we begin to tune in to the connective field that we all are a part of, and where we tune in to the DNA, the holographic DNA of all living organisms, of all the wisdom, of all the information that is available for us. And all of the veils begin to thin more and more from one dimension to the other as we begin to become aware of who we are and recognize that we are one with many dimensional planes. We are an organism that is exploring many dimensional planes for that matter. So our ability to work with the physical body in healing is something that's incredibly important at this time. And right now we are really working with breaking. We need to let go of habits that are causing really a lot of stagnation, really the belief systems that are limiting. And it's kind of like the organism collectively has come to the point where it's just tired of dwelling in sorrow and pain and heaviness and disillusion and disappointment and feelings of unworthiness. A lot of you are feeling that overwhelming feeling that, a change has to take place. Something has to change. Some of you are still at the point of being stuck in that emotion, and you're recognizing that and sometimes feel so overwhelmed by what's occurring that we just want to stay there. It becomes a comfort zone. But at this time, and with this energy that's available for us during this transition point, this movement that we're going through, is the training of ourselves through those uncomfortable moments where we're having to push outside of our comfort zone. The ego has to allow this comfort in these uncomfortable moments where it becomes vulnerable, where it becomes, it has to experience these triggering experiences that take it out of its own balance, of its availability to expand. The moments where it has the opportunity to either contract or to expand, we really need to notice when we can choose the expansion, because otherwise we become stuck. And the problem with doing that right now is that because everything is manifesting quicker, we are accessing the laws of accident and resistance more. And remember that we're powerfully guided and we're divinely protected and powerfully protected and divinely guided, I should say, from an aspect of ourself that is higher, that is wiser, and is always available to us. So the ability to connect up into that highest self is something that's so imperative for this time. So try to choose things in your life that are really, really making that choice. Are you self-destructive? Are you criticizing? Are you limiting? Are you hating yourself? Are you feeling unworthy? Are you comparing yourself with others? Do we feel victimized by the world around us, or are we done with that? It really is a time to kind of turn the chapter, and especially coming into this winter for the northern hemisphere, summer for the southern hemisphere, we're beginning to enter a new time. It's a different energy, and depending on where you're at in your spiritual journey, you have a choice of taking that energy and creating something super powerful that can create a foundation for the future, or to really get stuck in some kind of habits that are just not productive for yourself. So this is the invitation of this time and this energy. And what we're going to be working on in this meditation today is really taking a look, fine-tuning, acknowledging yourself as all of your fragments, and becoming aware of where we are still getting stuck. this solar plexus is heavily affected by this energy right now, because the human feels emotionally really like it's going through like sludgy energy that doesn't allow it to move forward. So we have to quickly just move through that by quickly waking up from the hypnosis, the illusion of suffering and victimization, and choose to be empowered in that moment. And as we choose that empowerment, we begin to embody that and integrate it into our everyday experience. And it has to be something that if you have to write it on your hand, if you have to create a post-it and put it directly in front of you to remember throughout the day, because there will be many opportunities for which sometimes will be so overwhelming. We're just going to want to curl up in a corner and just kind of self-protect, self-preserve. Now, there is a very huge difference between resistance of these heavy emotions and taking time to rest. So remember that also during these times, in order for us to find clarity and the space to make this choice, we need to find the space to be in stillness. And that stillness is available at all times. In our world, in our society, we are so programmed and trained from the nervous system to constantly be moving, to constantly be interacting, responding to something. And we feel pressured subconsciously by our environment to respond in the habitual ways that we're used to responding. But if you can just for one moment consider observing yourself throughout your day to kind of check in to what your response is going to be, whatever it is that you're doing, even if it's to a negative belief thought that just comes up for you, if you just pause one moment and just take a step back, ground yourself, remember the light source that moves through your body, you have an opportunity to choose. Do you want that life source to get stagnant in the manifestation of a stagnant life force in your body? Or would you like that to move through the body? And you don't need to stick to any one thing. You don't need to identify as something in that moment. You don't need to identify as the person that it's right, for example, or the person that's wrong in that moment. You can simply allow and explore for the life force to move through you, for it to manifest, for it to express through you. And in that stillness and observation, allow it to develop, to express itself in the things that you're experiencing. And this is where we begin to tap into those superpowers of the intuitive living, where we are more in a state of flow than we are in a state of fragmented stagnation. Okay, so the integration of life force is available to you by this really profound awareness and presence throughout your day, throughout your life experience. So let us begin with that. I want to give a shout out to everyone that's here in the chat. Love you so much. Anita, thank you so much for being here. Larissa, Sarah Stiles, Deb, Eldvidge, hello. Thank you for being here. I've been a little emotional, but balancing out. Thank you. That's amazing. Wow. It has been heightening emotions a lot this past week. And it really just goes to show, just remember that, we are going to experience that when we have these major celestial events, because we are moving through heavy energies and the body becomes very sensitive. You're actually pulling through your body way more than than you're aware of. You're dealing with all kinds of celestial energies moving through in and around you, as well as, entities and any other beings that are revolving around our space. So if we're not aware of owning the space that we're in, this belongs to me, then, we can absorb a lot of that stuff within us, and it triggers or manipulates emotions within us as well. Zaza says, good evening. Good evening, Zaza. Everything truth, blessings. Anita says, the energy right now is a wonderful, big shifts afoot, and the full moon is amazing. I agree. Psychic Delicious says, I feel atomic awakening. Wow, she's helping me tune in. Love that. Yes, my dreams have been very vivid and clear. Me too. They have been incredibly lucid. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. We're going to actually do that tomorrow, where we're going to start training for lucid dreaming, because this is what we need to do at this time with this kind of energy precisely. You have a way of explaining things in a way that makes it so easy for me to understand what's being said. Wow, I'm so glad to hear that, Larissa. Thank you for that. JP Official says, what should I do if I come across a violent situation where I have to defend myself and the attacker knows this chakra practice and uses it for bad? Well, this is kind of going back to the same concept of victimization, right? Remember that we would not be in that environment with this other person in that situation, violent situation, had we not checked in with ourselves even before leaving the house, or if we live in the house in that environment, checking in with ourselves before we start our day. Because we have to stop thinking that the world is being created, outside of us and affecting ourselves. It's actually the opposite. We create everything we experience. So if our initial feelings throughout your day are survival and protection at all times, and myself and the other at all times, you are going to manifest experiences that are going to trigger that, highlight that, and reinforce those belief systems. So I would like to invite you to go back to the very root of this kind of experience and just take a look at yourself before you started that day. What were your thoughts? What were your emotions? What were your feelings? And if this is someone that you've been interacting with for a long time and nothing ever changes, then you need to ask yourself why you're still in that situation, why you're still coming back to interact with that person. Where is the awareness, the consciousness, and the self-love to begin to choose shifts and changes in life that bring us into situations that are more constructive rather than destructive and counter creative. So this is come to the point where all of us, the family that's here, we need to begin to change the way that we speak, the way that we feel about the things that happen to us, and just begin to change them from the inside out into opportunities rather than something that holds us back and keeps us stagnant. So I really hope that you can pull through in that experience and understand that your ownership of your body is the creation of what you're going to experience. And if you are caught off guard in an experience like this, again, it's because we're not aware. But remember that you can use many tools. You can use vibrational frequency. If you change your vibrational frequency inside of your sphere and you put in a color of peace for yourself and ground yourself in that peace, you're not going to be a match to that person anymore. You can also protect yourself by embodying body of glass. I've taught about that many times in my videos, how we come into a state of invisibility, but we hold our energetic signature, and you become just energy. And this is a technique that's utilized in many self-defense exercises, Eastern exercises such as Tai Chi, that instead of an energy, someone's anger or violence that becomes directed towards you actually moves through you instead of has a solid thing to hit, because your vibrational frequency isn't a match to that. This is how Qigong masters and Tai Chi masters are able to protect and defend themselves by reallocating how energy is being utilized. So these are ancient practices and techniques that we need to utilize now. And when we begin to come encounter with a being that is embodying this heavy, heavy thing, directing it towards us and around us, we begin to not allow that. We allow it to just move through. And in my workshops, you can literally see this when we're working in groups, that when someone hits someone or sends energy towards someone, they literally feel like there's emptiness in front of them because the person goes into a body of glass. But when they embody an empowerment, which we can also do, creating a larger space, they feel like they're hitting a wall energetically. So these are techniques that we need to learn, and they are all part of the mastery of this body, of this vessel of creation. Thank you so much for that question. Tiffany says, Geraldine, so excited about tonight. Me too. Thank you for being here. Eugene, so good to see you. Connections to the source, the most important of all. Hope you are well. Thank you so much. So good to connect with you. How can one this chakra practice for counter defense purposes? Oh, I think I just answered that. RR2, I didn't see your message. Geraldine, thank you for all that you do. So excited I was introduced to you via Mary Rodwell. Wow, that's great. My question, any advice of letting go of what I expect myself to do and what others want? That's a fantastic question. I think we kind of went over that just a little bit tonight because we were talking about owning our space. And before you even choose that, we need to know what we want, okay? And before we even choose that, we need to understand why we don't want what we don't want. And this is important because as we begin to observe ourselves, we begin to notice that we're following a lot of patterns in our life. And some of these patterns are heavily informed by what we have learned in early childhood. So, in fact, a lot of those things are really not the true you, the true potential of yourself. You're just cycling through old patterns. So when we wake up and we become aware of those patterns, we have an opportunity to end some of those patterns that are not so constructive. And what you're going to find is that yourself, the true self inside there, is something completely different. It's quite neutral. You might even question the way that you express yourself, the way that you dress, the way that you choose your career, the way you interact with one another, with family members. You begin to change what you are vibrationally, physically, because the awareness changes now. It changes everything. So from that perspective, then you begin to kind of change any of those expectations. And you realize that you are more this powerful vibrational totem, this giant pillar of light, as opposed to just the human body. This is where you begin to tune in intuitively to your purpose based on the vibrational signature. You recognize that all of your life experiences have been created to create your unique way of looking at the world, and from that place can choose to be of service to something greater. And a lot of us that have come into this planet are here for that reason. But most important is this understanding and connection and cultivation of the self, of the expansion of this self, of the light, harnessing that self, embodying unconditional love is it actually the first thing that we want to master. And from there, the cup overfloweth. Again, it's like, you have this abundant, unconditional love that you begin to share with the world. But the end goal is not that. The end goal is to cultivate this organism as a healing of the collective. Good morning, Mary Bond. So good to see you. Great. And Kopla, gratitude for you, Geraldine. Deep calls, deep. Talk about the truth. Cultivate. I love that. Thank you so much, Eon Kalpa. All right, let's get started, guys. I want to read all of your questions. I see questions. I see Anushi. I see everyone. So I'll come back to you, please. Let's do the practice, yeah? Thank you for being here. All right, we're going to start by inhaling deeply and exhaling. Taking a moment to take in this stillness. And we're just going to tune in to our energetic field and what we're picking up. The energies of the moon are very strong tonight, so you're definitely going to feel. I want you to tune into that. Tune into the energies of the collective right now. And just observe what you pick up as you tune into that. You're also going to tune into your own state, the emotions that you're feeling, thoughts that are crossing your mind, and we're just going to acknowledge them and kind of let them go. Okay, we're going to anchor ourselves down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and create a grounding cord and anchor yourself. powerfully sending that cord that wraps around your body, your waist, your hips, your pelvic bone, all the way down in through the layers of the earth, anchoring into the center of the earth. And just notice that kind of fresh feeling of fresh air, that you can breathe better, feel more expansive, more grounded, more in your body. And as you begin to tune in to your intuitive body, as you begin to check in, going to create your sphere around your body. Go ahead and visualize a sphere around you that's made out of something impenetrable. And just notice how much clearer your visualizations have become as you work with me, because you're training your intuition. As you see your sphere around you, we're going to close and seal any openings in this field. Grounding down to the center of the earth. When we close our sphere, oftentimes any heaviness that we're holding in the body becomes more present. We feel it more. We become aware of it more. So whatever you feel heaviness in the body, go ahead and send it down to the center of the earth, and just continue to make sure that you're completely closing your energetic field around you. Root chakra, closing it down to the size of a dime. Front and back, breathing. Sacral chakra, closing it down to the size of a dime. Solar plexus, closing it down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances. And just noticing what is around the chakra, front and back of the body, as you begin to anchor your energy into your body. When you close the first three chakras, you are anchoring the higher light, higher vibrational frequency to enter the body. So taking a nice deep breath, you're going up to the heart center. Go ahead and open that heart, front and back. This is the prep work to do energetic hygiene, to move things out of the body. Go up into the throat, open that. And notice if you feel differently. Go up into the third eye, open this. Okay. Taking a moment to sit for a moment here in this stillness as you have activated your body. You are in a state of an activated psychic energy, psychic activation. In this state, your psychic abilities are heightened. So if you need to inquire something or connect with yourself or have some conflict that you're trying to find a resolution for, this is the perfect state to be in order to find those answers without them being infused by imbalanced emotions and aspects of ourselves from the lower body. Let's go up to the crown. We're going to activate the crown, front and back. Open that crown. And I want you to select a color that represents our highest expression, the highest expression that we need at this time in this gateway, with this opening that is available to us with this energy of the full moon. Okay? What is the color that represents your highest expression in preparation for the next few years. Go ahead and notice that. It may have changed from colors that you used before, or it might be the same. It's just telling us where we're at and the areas that we need to work on. Okay, you're going to fill it up into the crown. Okay. And we're going to set a really powerful intention here that every area of our life is infused with the awareness and the intention that we are ready to embody the higher self for this new era, for this new change, this new world in which we need to be in a state of flow. So let's start in the areas of the work that we're doing, our careers, our lives, how we make money. Go ahead and fill that in, setting the intention that everything that we're doing from this moment in this moon is working towards the collective and for the healing of the self. The next is relationships. The next is family. If we're having conflict with family members, setting the intention that we're opening a new slate, we are clearing the slate, and setting the intention that we're starting afresh. The new us is ready to kind of take place, this integrated, loving self. The next is your health. Fill that in. Setting the intention that we embody perfect health at this time, that all of the parts of ourselves that are aching and still suffering find itself in that healing, become whole. Okay. The next is your purpose. What are you here to do? Fill that in. The next is abundance. This is money, this is sexual energy, creative energy. Setting the intention that we come into a divine union within to create the purity of creation with our highest expression. Fill that in. Okay, and finally, your soul, your spiritual work. Fill that in. Okay, your crown is shining brilliantly with your color. Notice how you are radiating. There's a pulsating feeling of energy. This is how to cultivate this magic energy within the body. We're going to go deeper. From the center of the earth, I want you to visualize bringing in a very renewing energy, a very renewing, cleansing, purifying energy that comes into the body. And it can be any color that you want, but the intention is that it's a very purifying energy. And it begins to rotate around the body. Large rotation around the body, coming into the multidimensional field. As it rotates around your body, you begin to feel kind of a rocking sensation. And that's natural when you're moving with this body. You're beginning to kind of move heavy stuff that are perhaps in the root, in the sacral, in the solar. So this is what we want to do, just beginning to move any of that out. Okay? And that centrifugal force is beginning to move in the body. Okay, from the universe, from source, we're going to bring down a powerful wave of that cosmic light that comes down, combining with this purifying energy. Cosmic and purifying energy. You're going to really feel the heightened vibrational frequency that moves around your body. Okay? Okay. You're going to anchor 10% of that back down to the center of the earth. This is where we are the alchemists, where we are feeding our mother organism, which is the Mother Earth, It is us in the form of a planet. So we also heal that part of us. In that part of us is you, it's me, it's our brothers and sisters that are around the world right now, suffering, feeling pain, in all of these mindsets of fear that are in little clusters around the world. Those are the clusters of fear that we have within the body. So just imagine that life force coming in around the planet Earth as it begins to cultivate at the center. All of you that are here meditating with me are anchors in your own regions of the world. And you're creating those anchors in your ancestral lineage, in your home. So as you feed this life force into the earth, we begin to breathe deeply. And I want us to create a collective intention at this moment. You tap into the feeling of love, of acceptance, of compassion for yourself. That awareness that we're done with victimized ideas. We're done with feelings of helplessness. We are done with the ideas of limitation, of separation. So let's check in to ourselves collectively as we tune in energetically, as if we are connecting to a network that we are all connected to all of those parts of us that are an extension of our own fear reflected in the world, and that we invite the opportunity to release that fear. So as we set that invitation out, looking at yourself as if you're sitting in the middle of a net that is interconnected with one another, we begin to move through the body, all of that heaviness that is within the body, everything that we've dealt with in the past 5 years, anything that has caused us suffering, pain, anguish, anger, frustration. Allow every cell of your body to feel safe in this moment enough to release all of that out of the body. Breathing powerfully, inhaling down to the base of the spine. Notice how you may feel the push of energy through the body. Okay? We are really moving through some heavy energies right now. So as you push all of that from the cells of your body out, it's as if the cells begin to crystallize into this light. Okay? So speaking to every cell in the body to embody that light. It is the alchemy of this human vessel. Breathing deeply. Okay. You're going to go back to the solar plexus. You're going to pull up 80% outside of your field, outside of your bubble. And this cosmic and very purifying energy is going to begin to trickle down into this matrix. Everything that is above the planet Earth, this hologram that is creating the cities, the structures of reality that we live in, the systems of control, the systems of whatever systems are out there, beginning to observe. And I want you to look at it as a network of energy and information that is around us. All these compartmentalized ideas of how things should be. So just observing and acknowledging, just by visualizing the energy that is captivated within those bubbles of stagnant consciousness. And we are going to use our light to clear from ourselves the reflection of ourselves in this environment that triggers pain, suffering, feelings of helplessness, fear, doubt. Doubt is a really big one. Anything that causes doubt in ourselves, with ourselves, begin to dissolve. All of that. Dissolve out of your space. Go ahead and extend that light, your light, around you, about 10 to 20 feet around you, all around your body. Your body is the earth, your body is the collective. And in this moment, we set the intention that we anchor from the center of the heart that all beings that are in a state of suffering, that are a reflection of our own limitation, be freed from that limiting belief. They have an opportunity to choose something. We just allow them to become aware that there is more than just that. We look at ourselves, at the parts of us that still feel limited, and let the parts of ourselves that are expressed in this hologram, we let them know that there is more than limitation. There is more than fear. And from all the layers of your body, we're going to begin to visualize, and you're going to feel kind of a lifting sensation that from all the layers begins to lift this heaviness. Beginning at the first layer of the body, lifting all of those limiting beliefs. The second layer. Third layer. All around you. Fourth layer. Fifth. Sixth. Acknowledging everything that you know about yourself and your body, that you know you need to release, that you know you need to heal. The seventh. Okay. And the body should feel a lot warmer at this time because you are really moving through a lot of energy. Breathing deeply. Okay. I want you to take a look at a quick overview of the past 5 years, everything that has caused tremendous amount of trigger, pain, suffering, feelings of separation, anger, self-doubt. Any moments where we may have doubted ourselves or become disconnected from the selves. I want you to see all of those scenarios in front of you as if you're watching a movie of your life and just observing as if they are dense frequency. Okay, go ahead and bring some of that cosmic energy down on top of all of these memories, transmuting them, allowing all of that heaviness to dissolve like sand from these memories down to the center of the earth. And the rest of these memories that are now cleared and transmuted, just imagine that they're lifting away all the heaviness. And we set the intention that from every cell in the body, from every organ in the body, that we are corded to these memories through pain, through trauma. We begin to release them. So go ahead and tune in to the organs of the body. And we're going to begin working in the sexual organs, releasing any cords from the sexual organs that are triggering programs of suffering, of limitation, of separation. Releasing old relationships, old people, places, and things that trigger these parts of our body. These memories that are encoded within this section of the body. Okay, going up into the intestines. Going up into the pancreas, the liver, the stomach, all of the organs in the center core of the body, the kidneys, all of the organs in the body that are meant for elimination. We're going to bring that white light down into that organ, releasing all of the programs that are encoded within the memory of these organs, releasing limiting beliefs, stagnation. And we are replacing that with this life force energy, repairing the body. Our emotional traumas are encoded and memorized within the organs, within the nervous system of the body, within the muscle memory of the body. So as we become aware, we begin to release all of that. Going up into the liver. A lot of us are holding a lot in the liver. Breathing deeply. Okay, going up into the lungs now. A lot of us have been holding a lot of heaviness in the lung space, especially over the past 2 years. Fear, sorrow, frustration, feelings of helplessness. Sorry. So tune in to the memory of the lungs, looking back, taking us back into the womb, and remembering, our first breath, remembering being in that safe womb in which we felt protected. And we are creating that same vibrational energy for healing the body at this time. We are creating this kind of womb space around us. So from the lungs, with every breath you take, visualize eliminating all of that heaviness that is within the lung, the memory of the lung. Making us, changing the vibrational frequency of the body not to be a match to anything external to us that is targeting this heart center of the body, that is paralyzing the center of the human, the most powerful creative life force energy that comes from this space of breath, of life, of energy. It's the movement of energy. Whatever is being created outside of us right now, all of these things that target our health, it's a representation of this stagnation of life force energy. And so the attack on the lungs is the limiting of life force moving through the body. And it's a really great reminder for most of us that don't really have mindful breath practices to embody mindful breath practices every day, to be aware of the breath that's coming in, that is healing, that is not just air, it is life. It is life that is coming into your body. And do you honor that life? Do you ignore it? Do you not even care about it? Do you take it, it's almost like, take it for granted, right? So that's disconnect from source. And our ability to breathe and anchor in that life force in the body is basically reflecting in your own life. What are you creating? What are you doing? Are you healing or are you sick? Going up into the back of the shoulders, and focus on the entire back muscles, where we store all of the things that we don't want to acknowledge, all of the things that we don't want to say out loud, that we're ashamed of speaking and expressing. What's back there? Take a look at it. Tune in to the back of your body. Dissolve all of those memories that we are fearing acknowledging as a part of our life experiences, that we reject, that we deny, that we ignore in order to preserve and stay comfortable in an illusion of joy and happiness, when in fact it's being completely informed by all of these fears. Almost as if you're opening a bottle full of sand, and you're just going to let that sand just drift away, just drain into the center of the earth out of your body. Okay, you're going to go up to the neck now and the throat. And this is the most powerful. This is where we cultivate a lot of sexual energy. It's very much connected to the sexual organs, the throat. So as you look at the energy that's here, when are you incapable of speaking your truth? When are we afraid of embodying the divine masculine, the divine feminine? Whether you're a man or a woman, what areas of those energies are you neglecting or ignoring or not, or fearful to embody? Take a look at that. Eliminate all of that, because that is causing major stagnation in your progression, in your advancement. The beliefs that you have about yourself, the criticism, the judgment. Okay. You're going to go up now into the head, okay, into the brain. Go ahead and tune into the brain. Take a look at all of the areas in the brain that we are, fearful of coming into expansion. This is where the pineal gland lives, at the center. And so just take a look at our belief systems, the limiting fears that we have around spirituality, around our own spiritual embodiment, taking responsibility for ourselves, taking responsibility for the embodiment of the spiritual self on the high level. Where do we reject that? Where do we deny that? So eliminate all of those parts. Notice, just simply by removing that, what exists after that. And tune in to that purity, that your true signature that is there, uninformed and polluted by fear. This is where you begin to see who you really are. Breathing deeply. Okay, now we're gonna allow the body to heal. So we're gonna go back to the solar plexus. You're gonna take that very purifying energy, and we're going to bring it into the organism. So go ahead and visualize surrounding yourself in a vortex of this energy, cosmic and purifying energy. And you're going to allow your body to begin to take it into every cell, coming in from the pores of the skin into the muscle tissue, healing. So we're doing it at the toes. And I want you to become aware of every single part of your body right now. This is embodiment of full awareness, going up into the ankles. Okay, full awareness of the body. Every tendon, every muscle, every cell. Going up into the legs. Any discomfort that is in the body is the rejection of awareness in that part of the body. Bring your awareness to the discomfort. Notice that it begins just like emotions. It just passes once you're aware of it. Once you acknowledge the information that is stored within that pain, within that stagnation. You're going to learn so much about yourself as you do this, going up into the knees. Just by sitting with discomfort that's in the body, you begin to notice. Sometimes you might find self-hate or rejection in this little feeling of pain that you have inside of a muscle of a leg, for example. Okay, this is your body speaking to you. It is alive, and there is information there that is imperative to your healing and to your awakening. So never ignore anything that is in the body. Going up into the thighs. Going up into the hips. Okay, taking your awareness there. No longer being in a state of resistance, stagnation, immobilized, fear. Notice what is sitting in the sit bones, what is sitting in that space. Heal that place. Allow it to absorb this expansive energy. Allow it to heal and nurture that part. Going up now into the solar plexus. Okay, healing, bringing peace, feeling safe in this body. You are safe. You are not at the risk of death. You are not at the risk of illness. You are health. You are vitality. You are consciousness. Bring that into your body. Embody that in your body. Illness does not exist in a body that is in a high vibrational state. Going up into the lungs, again, healing. Imagine that you are being embraced by the Divine Mother of the universe, the true Mother that is there to provide you with the love, the support. All of the aspects of yourself are acknowledged, seen, heard, loved. Going up into the heart center. Feel it breaking away as if you have a crust around the heart. Any parts that are afraid to love, parts that are afraid to be vulnerable. Allow this light to come in, penetrate into the heart. Let it feel safe. Let it know that it can love itself. That this is sacred, that this is divine. This body, this vessel is divine. And all of the molecules that surround you and in the universe have come together to create and put you together in your unique way. The unique way. What you know, what you do in your life, what you speak. How precious and valuable it is to the collective and to your organism. Bring that in. Anchor that into this body. In this moment, we ask every cell of the body to acknowledge its empowerment, to acknowledge its wisdom, its health, its vitality. This high vibrational frequency that begins to move through the crown of your head, coming into the throat now, the arms. We forget the arms, we forget the hands, these hands that do so much. Okay. All the parts of the body that provide us with support, feeling so much gratitude. The vortices of the palms of the hands. Go ahead and clear those out of any shame, of any guilt. And in this moment, we begin to connect to this energy of the center of the universe and channel that life force into the parts of the body as they become awakened, going up into the head and finally healing. Almost as if you've enclosed yourself in a bodysuit of light. What color is your light? It can be different for everyone. Everyone has a different signature, a signature that is so unique to you. Allow yourself to breathe deeply. Breathing deeply. We're going to work in the higher levels now, going up to the 8th dimensional plane. Okay, the 8th dimensional plane. Activating that 8th dimensional plane. Okay, you're going to begin to see the geometry that surrounds your body. And within that geometry is the spherical form that begins to produce around you. Okay, clearing any stagnant energy within that space, the 8th. Going up to the 9th, sending your color up to the 9th, activate the 9th. activate the 10th. And in these dimensional planes, we ask at this moment that all of our fragments that are awakening on all dimensional planes come, bring their presence in this moment. We are aware of them. We can become aware of them. So I want you to become aware and just visualize all of the fragments of yourself that are vibrating at a really high vibrational state. Go ahead and take a look at that. What are your fragments doing? Notice the dimensional plane that they're at. Okay. Go ahead and receive from your fragments everything that this body, this vessel needs at this time for its journey in the next 5 years. Because this is a portal opening. This is an opportunity. This is an energetic shift. So we're going to use that to encode and embed in the body the information that it needs within the non-physical aspect, because that's where we draw the life force from. So go ahead and bring from all of your fragments the aspects of yourself that need to be healed at this time, integrating fully that healing, that awareness, that love. Bringing health, bringing wisdom, information that is unique to you. Healing that is unique to you. Activation. And we activate with the feeling of love the physical body. Activating the DNA. Activate the DNA. Activate the DNA. Breathing deeply. Everything that we are prepared, all of our guides, all of our higher selves are available for that support. So you're going to go up to the 12th dimensional plane and the 13th dimensional plane. Okay. And you're going to connect up to Source. And anchoring that light down into your body. Breathing deeply. And I want you to take your mind's eye and kind of remote view yourself from above. Look at your light. Look at how large you are energetically. And as you begin to look above yourself in your room, wherever you are, in the space that you're in, if you're outside, you begin to zoom out even further to the city that you're in. Look at how much light you anchor into this space. Begin to become aware of your interconnectedness to all things as you look at yourself as a sea of vibrational frequency. Yourself, the other. Notice how you're glowing because you raise the vibrational frequency. Perhaps other things around you, they begin to look like cooler energy, but your energy is warm, so it's very bright. This is what it looks like. So throughout your day, I want you to maintain this image of yourself as this light. Instead of getting lost in petty arguments, distractions, fears, remember yourself as this light. Very good. So we're going to go to the root chakra. You're just going to open that back up. Go ahead and eliminate all of the karmic contracts that you've experienced in this last 5 years. You're going to see it piled in front of you, all of the karmic contracts. Things that you've agreed to unconsciously, things that, this is parasites. These are interdimensional beings that are interfering in your space, entities, attachments, all of these aspects of ourselves in the lower realms. See all of those contracts in front of you. You're going to shine your crown light and you're going to just eliminate them. Eliminate them. If you're ready to let them go. If you are ready to let those go, check in with yourself. Am I ready to let those go? If you're ready, let them go. Okay? We're going to cut cords with people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with us. Go ahead and see them in front of you in a crowd. Okay? Cut the cord on their end. And this is a conscious disconnect. Make sure that you're fully aware and okay with the fact that you are neutralizing the exchange between yourself and this other organism. Go ahead and pull those cords out. Let that go. Clear that out. No longer connecting. Notice that those cords are connecting to different parts of the body. Clear them out. No longer connecting to people, places, and things that we don't resonate with anymore, that we have grown out of. Some of our lives are completely changing. Things are seemingly falling apart. We are in moments of major transition. Thankfully, this is an opportunity for change, for a shift in vibration. It means that your body desperately needs a different environment. You need something that is more conducive to your expansion, that is supportive, that is loving. It's time for that now. That's why these things are happening. So go ahead and cut cords with all of that. It's time for it to be flushed out. Okay? The only time you do that is by sustaining your high vibration. Very good. Go up to your sacral, open that back up into a balanced state. The solar, open that back up. The heart, closing it just a bit, bringing it back. The throat, the third eye, closing it just a bit. Okay? You're a pillar of this rainbow light, a pillar of vibrational frequency. You are organizing your light, organizing yourself, organizing your information until it's flowing beautifully, freely through this body. No stagnation as you begin to create your rainbow body. Because that's what this exercise, this entire month is for. It's for expanding your light, embodying this rainbow body, right? And the rainbow body is organized because all layers are cleared. It's not a jumble of mess, which we normally are when we're not doing this work. Very good. So go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the room. You guys did an incredible job. I want to thank you so much for working with me today. I'd like for you to drink a lot of water tonight. And any of these things that you've cleared out of your way, you're probably going to be venting out in dreams. So pay attention to the dreams that you're having over the next couple nights, because you're going to be taken to places that you need to heal and to work with. In those dreams, become aware. Check into your G-Pack, grounding, protecting, aligning in the dream. Begin to exercise that energy work. Let go of things that we don't want to exchange with on those levels. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for doing the work with me. I think there was a question up here. Let me see. Anushi says, what is natural and unnatural way of living? Hard to figure out. Aren't something bad comes under a natural way of living? So natural and unnatural, all that we're talking about is the alignment with what is organic in a sense. For example, in nature, things are, plants grow without feeling shameful or doubting themselves. So this is an expression of authenticity and congruency with all aspects of itself. We need to embody that ourselves. We need to be acknowledging all parts of ourselves without shame and guilt, and living in that kind of constant movement, constant evolution. And that's really what it means to embody that natural self per se. We're just mimicking the way that nature lives, this wild expression, fearlessly. And so the body we need to train ourselves to do that as well, and with consciousness, so that we are, being mindful of what we're co-creating. Alexander, so glad you're here. I'm in the best place for this meditation. Nice. That's so awesome. Catherine Whitford, so good to see you, Catherine. Much love to you. Yesenia, so good to see you, Alexander. That's so awesome. Air Lidzuit, so nice to see you. All my love. Aeon Kalpla, know who you are, why you are, ignite the frequency you wish to be, go within to flow out. Love and bliss frequencies eternal. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Very good. I can only meditate with my eyes open because I keep my eyes closed. It puts me in a vulnerable state, I feel, if that makes sense. Yeah, and it's a matter of training. That means that you really need to practice meditation with your eyes closed, because it means that we're afraid of even ourselves. The internal world is actually where the real world is. So if we can't go internally, we are disconnected from what's real. Hi, Geraldine. We'll re-listen later. Thank you so much, Ozzy Angie. Larissa, wow, I had to open my eyes. I was drifting. I'm so glad you're back. Shade, talk, so good to see you. Latonadzine, Luana, thank you very much. Deb, so great. Thank you very much. That was amazing. Thank you very much. That felt wonderful. Thank you. That's amazing. Hello, Ozzy Angie. So good to see you. Wow, I completely disappeared and it was like I was sleeping, but I wasn't during that whole time. Nice. Yeah, the energies are really strong tonight. So if you do go into sleep, that's okay. That happens too. It means we need to recover and rest. You're a great teacher. Thank you so much, RR2. Thank you, everyone. Much love to you. Have an amazing night. Happy full moon, manifestations, creations, and abundance, and connect to that higher self. Embody that throughout your day. Much love. Bye-bye. And also don't forget to sign up for WisdomCon this weekend, you guys. It's a free conference. And register through the website, wisdomcon.com. We have such amazing speakers with amazing topics. So please do join us there. I would love to see you there. Bye-bye.